Lower Calf Creek Falls. Escalante Staircase, Grand Staircase, Escalante National Monument. Very nice campground here. $5 fee for parking or a National Park Pass. So Lower Calf Creek Falls here. Lots of instructions. We are at stop number 1, interpretive stop. Welcome to Calf Creek. The year-round flow of the creek begins several miles up canyon with large seeps and springs.
Right there.
Water is the key to survival here. And this lush riparian habitat supports abundance of plant life and animal life. People also depend on the life-giving waters of Calf Creek for thousands of years. Interpretive site number 2. Water forms canyons. Over millions of years, the creek was carved its way deeper and deeper into its channel. Meanwhile, rain, water flowing over cliffs and down slopes and along sides of the canyon, erodes sand, grains, pebble rocks, and boulders, gradually widening the canyon. Major erosion and sediment transport occur when flash floods from summer thunderstorms roar down the canyon. Water and wind erosion also forms arches, alcoves, intricate honeycombing, and water pockets. Look around you and observe the wonders of water and wind at work. Nope, I don't see any water pockets. I do see some honeycombing, some little arches. A lot of cactus. I would call this prickly pear or beaver tail cactus. I'm not sure which. There's some pinyon pine. There's some Navajo sandstone domes. Trail goes through a whole bunch of gamble oaks, rabbit brush, and I'm going to say this is some kind of sagebrush, but I don't know that for sure. Kind of smells like sagebrush when you crush it. Yep. Site number 3, North American beaver dedication and ingenuity once improved every watershed in North America. Ponds and marsh areas along the creek are a product of these industrious creatures. Much like humankind, beaver possess an irrepressible drive to construct their own habitat. Their tenacious work ethic helps support biodiversity by forming wetlands, which eventually become fertile meadows, providing a stable supply for wildlife. And they've taken down most of the cottonwood trees. There's one still right there, though. Cottonwood trees are all cut down by the beavers. There's still one there, but apparently there's a lot of box elders, water birches, and a few gamble oaks. Gamble oaks are right there. And the water birches and the box elders are down in there. And I suspect there are some willows too. Some Mormon tea, some rabbit brush, and a bunch of cactus. Site number 4, Gamble Oak is an upland species. In high desert areas, it is often found in cool, shady locations. Well, right now it feels like, I imagine the air temperature is 70, but it feels like 100. And it is sure not very shady. Twigs, leaves, and acorns provide important food for wildlife, especially deer and turkeys. Okay, I hope we see both deer and turkey today. And the red there is called, I believe it's pronounced Kaitina level. The red and the white on top is Navajo sandstone. The Kaitina is, I believe, made of sandstones, siltstones, and mudstones. And it has a higher iron concentration and was probably formed in areas not covered in water, because that's why it's oxidized iron to red. Okay. Navajo sandstone was formed, I believe, from sand dunes similar to Great Sand Dunes National Monument in Colorado. However, this was a huge sand area extended from Arizona, Utah, Colorado area. Several side canyons coming in. They're dry now, but it looks like they could carry a lot of water.
I'd say it.
Reparative site number 5. Perched high above on canyon ledges are several granaries built by the ancient Fremont culture, which inhabited Utah from AD 700 to AD 1300, named for the Fremont River where their first sites were discovered. These diverse, flexible, and adaptable people lived adjacent to but were distinctly different. Different from the well-known Anasazi culture. They lived in pit houses, created distinctive rock art, created thin-walled gray pottery, and wore moccasins. So where are the granaries? I see a vulture. Point number 6. 175 million years ago, North America drifted away from the equator, causing the environment to become increasingly arid. Streams deposited sand in channels and floodplains, creating the Kayenta Formation, visible today as a layer of red-purple ledges. As conditions became drier, sand dunes hundreds of feet high blew in from an inland sea located in what is now central Nevada. The huge Sahara-like desert that covered this area formed the Navajo sandstone, the predominant geologic layer found in Calf Creek. So I believe we're standing currently in the Kayenta Formation, and the tower there at the base is where the Navajo starts, I believe. And there's a lot of sign of beaver here, some beaver dams. And the beaver house right down here. Number 7. What do a desert, red rock canyon, and a red planet have in common? They both have microscopic life forms inhabiting arid and nutrient-poor places. The dark vertical stripping visible on these canyon walls results from the activity of living organisms. Microbes oxidize iron and manganese found in clay minerals to create these black to orange, yellow coatings found where water flows over canyon walls. Desert varnish reveals the environmental conditions in which it accreted over thousands of years. The layering pattern of black, manganese-rich, is caused by humid conditions, and the orange, manganese-poor, is caused by arid conditions, indicating the dustiness of the depositional setting. Planetary scientists suspect that desert varnish may also exist on Mars, preserving active organisms or at least biological fossils. Interest point number 8. Across the canyon near the bottom of the smooth cliff wall are 3 large figures painted with red pigment. With their trapezoidal shape, depictions of arms and legs, and elaborate headdresses, these images are typical of Fremont-style rock art. What are these 3 figures trying to tell us? Archaeologists speculate on many ideas such as religious ceremonies, deities, lineages, information, maps, or even warnings. Unfortunately, it is impossible for us to understand their worldview, therefore their meaning remains unknown. Rock art, like all archaeological sites, are a limited resource. Look but never touch. Pictographs are painted images, while petroglyphs are carved or pecked into the rock surface. And these are petrographs.
This side canyon is another storage granary. The Fremont people grew corn, beans, and squash along creeks and river bottoms, but more often they relied on gathering native plants, pinon nuts, berries, and seeds. They also fished and hunted deer, bighorn sheep, and other small animals.
The granary is that cave area right there. There's a little wall of rocks. Some ducks, these red-winged blackbirds, beaver dams. It's hard to see, but you can see 12, 14-inch brook trout swimming in the water down there. Number 10.
Horsetail is a jointed plant found only in wet areas. Pioneers call it scouring rush and use it to scrub pots and pans. Box elder, a member of the maple family, is the predominant tree in this canyon, reaching a height of 50 feet. It grows rapidly in wet places. It provides bank stabilization for the creek and ample shade for both people and wildlife.
Slide 11. Stop for a few minutes, relax and listen. How many different bird calls do you hear? This time of year we don't hear too many. Many bird species find the lush vegetation and abundant water ideal habitat, looking for hummingbirds, ravens, spotted towhees, peregrine falcons, and American robins. Many birds stop here on their migration routes. Lizards, mule deer, ground squirrels, coyote, porcupine, and mountain lion are just a few of the many animals that live in the canyon. Do you hear the wind? Even during the short time you've been listening, sand grains have been blown off the cliffs and slopes, and the process of erosion slowly continues. Number 12. The creek is a life force within the canyon. It provides life-sustaining water for the plants and animals. Aquatic plants, insects, and fish make their home within the creek. Brook, brown, and rainbow trout can often be seen resting on the creek bottom or darting in and out of hiding spots under vegetation along the creek. Wetlands are one of the most productive and important ecosystems, displaying a greater abundance of plant and animal life than adjoining upland areas. A healthy riparian zone filters and purifies the water passing through it, reduces sediment loads, enhances soil stability, and contributes to groundwater recharge and flow. Cattail, common reed, river birch, cottonwood, false Solomon seal, and willow are all water-loving plants you may see in the canyon. Okay, Lower Calf Creek Falls. It's about, I think it's 160 feet tall. It's a good trip on the way home. Had a bunch of clouds go over today. It got cooler for a while, and now the blue skies come back. A few clouds still up there. Gamble oak still hasn't lost all their leaves.